Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Godzilla film podcast episode. And the last episode I did is the very first Godzilla Heisei era film, is Godzilla 1985, or The Return of Godzilla, or whatever you call it. I did it with my kaiju brother, Goji Fan 1998. And today's episode, we'll be talking about Godzilla versus Biolante from 1989, which is a classic film. I mean, and it's the second Heisei era film. And we have a very special guest here tonight, and she is like the queen of all Godzilla toy collections, and the one and only Gojira girl herself, Christine Chapin. Hey, how's it
Hi.
going?
Oh, you're making me embarrassed.
Oh, I hope not. I just.
But thank you so much for the kind words. I do
You're welcome.
love toy collecting, and thank you so much for inviting me for this podcast because Godzilla vs. Biolante is my all-time favorite Godzilla movie, so I'm really excited to talk about this with you.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to it too, and and I watched some of your videos on your channel. You're yeah, like you really love collecting all Godzilla Bandai
Yes.
colorful collection, and the I I know I said it. I called you the queen of Godzilla toy collection. I mean, there's some other people call you that sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah, I don't feel like I'm that kind of person, but because there's so many amazing like collectors that have, I think, collections that are way better than mine. That I wish I could be as amazing as them. But I feel like everyone has their own way of collecting, and I love to see other people's collections. But yes, I do love to collect toys. This is only like a very small part of my
I
collection at home, so.
I gotta say, it looks amazing and it looks so rainbowy looking.
Thanks. Oh yes, all my colorful soft vinyl toys. I love the stuff like this that's all colorful and fun.
Well, I got mine collection right
Oh,
here.
I love it. All those are the is it the movie Monster series Biolante, right?
Yeah, the Bandai version. I
The
have
Bandai, yeah.
and I also had the mini version of Godzilla.
Oh, they pair up so well together.
Oh yeah, they
Oh, Rose
do prepare.
Biolante.
Yeah, and so I'm so excited to have you on here, and I want to say thank you for joining me on here. It's
You're welcome.
because you are such a Biolante fan.
Yes.
And we have a guest here on the chat. We have Walter.
Oh, Walter! Hi, Walter.
Oh, we have my kaiju brother here.
Oh, Nick.
And Nick.
Hi, Nick.
And I'm gonna asking you so how do you discover this film for the first time back then, as far as you can remember?
Wow. So I was still in high school. So when I grew up, obviously in the United States, we only had the Showa era films and the original 54. So I was used to seeing like besides 1954, which is a very more serious tone, the films following that were kind of more aimed towards kids. So that's what I was used to watching, was the Showa films. And I loved Godzilla. Like ever since I was 6 years old, I watched the very first Godzilla King of the Monsters with Raymond Burr in it, and I fell in love. And so I grew up watching the 50s and 60s and 70s movies, and I had no idea about Godzilla versus Biolante until, see, now I can't remember exactly where I had found the VHS tape, but I was in high school, and I had seen the VHS tape for it in the store, and it had the beautiful artwork of Norai. Oh my gosh, I just forgot his name. Oh, I have it like hanging on my wall right here. Orai, Noriyoshi Orai. And I was like, what is this? I have not seen this movie before. I hadn't even heard of it. Because back then, it was like the early 90s. Like the internet had just come out. So like I wasn't used to, like when I would go and find these movies, it would be in the store. I would see it on a store shelf. And that's how I knew about it. So I had seen this beautiful cover art of Godzilla with this big rose behind it, and I was like, "What? I have not seen this before. What is this?" So I bought it, and oh my gosh, I fell in love with that movie. It's my favorite my favorite Godzilla movie of all time.
That's a really good memory. Yeah, I love the VHS cover too. It's like I'll tell you how I discovered it. I have a really good memory of it. I mean, I
Oh, good,
remember.
nice.
Yeah, I remember that when I first discovered this on VHS at my other local video store where I used to live, and then that used to be exists, and I rent this film on VHS at the same local video store that I
Oh,
rented Godzilla versus Megalon, and which I explained it in
oh
my
wow.
Godzilla versus Megalon episode. Which is it? Is yesterday was the 50th anniversary of it.
Oh yes, it was Godzilla versus Megalon. Yep.
Yeah.
Crazy. Wow, I can't believe it's been.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. Christina. Hey, Christina, you're kind of frozen there.
Oh, sorry, my thing just kind of my StreamYard just kind of froze on me, but I'm still here.
Well, I hope it doesn't. Well, I hope things doesn't go wrong like my last video with my kaiju brother, because we've been having
Oh
some
no.
difficult time. Yeah,
Oh.
because I don't want to go through that again. So, all right. So, anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, like so. Anyway, so I found this film on VHS and along with the other Godzilla VHS, and so I rented it the other day, and I asked my mom if she can rent it, and she did, and I
Aw.
watched it for the first time, and it's there. I think I only watched this film one time in one day, and that's
Oh
it.
yeah.
And and then that was like the very first time I watched it, and just one time until I watched it again, not until around 2009 when I
Oh
first
wow.
bought the digital DVD copy. Like the booth
Oh, the
link.
Blu-ray. The Blu-ray one?
No, the booth link.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, if you know what I
Nice.
mean. And this one is the sequel to the 1985 one. And when I first watched this, the opening credits are just awesome, and it just
Yes.
shows a little flashback of the return of Godzilla from the last film. And the opening that was actually inspired by the film King Kong Lives, which
Oh, okay.
which is a sequel to the 1976 remake film, which it took place 10 years later.
I do love the opening to Godzilla vs. BIOLLANTE. It's one of my favorite openings ever. Actually,
Yeah.
I used to have that as my background on my computer, the opening sequence with the title name on it. That was forever my background wallpaper on my computer.
Yeah. And yeah, but it has the original like English title credits. And that's not until we get the original Japanese cover version on Blu-ray a
Mhm.
few years later. And so yeah, and I didn't know this was a sequel to the 1985 one.
Oh,
And
I liked how they tied it in the very beginning, and I liked how it started off kind of like when I first watched it, I thought it was like right directly after, because how they have the news reporter talking, and I love the restaurant that has the giant Godzilla footprint in it. I was like, oh, I wish that was
uh
real and I could go eat there.
yeah. Yeah, it kind of really refresh your memory. Yeah, and I like I like the way when all the bio people is trying to search for any damages, but they found some cells that was left
hmm
of Godzilla, and then there's some U.S. Army biotechnology,
Biotech, yeah.
and there's just bad news people that are trying to get their hands on Godzilla cells, like
hmm
they yeah. There's I was so shocked. I mean, I mean, when I rewatched this film for the first time a few years later, I mean, I don't remember this part.
Oh, you did. Oh, I love the part. It's so different from the rest of the films because I feel like this film. Well, I mean, Godzilla 1984 was more serious. They were starting over the series to be more serious, but I felt Godzilla 1989 was like way more serious tone than 1984. And yeah, they have all this cool like the biotechnology and all that, and then the military, and then they got secret agent spies and all of this like crazy stuff that they put into this movie. I really love the more serious tone of it, and I love how they redesigned the Godzilla suit. I thought when I saw this one, like if Godzilla was real, that is exactly what he would look like. He looked so real to me.
Yeah, I love to talk about the suit of it. They want to make Godzilla more animalistic looking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they actually made two suits for the film. One is for the land and one is for the water scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I gotta say I love this new look of Godzilla because they give
Me
him
too.
a second row of teeth.
He looks very mean. He looks very mean. And I
Yeah,
love how the water suit has more like a little point. He's like a little pointy head on the top, and that's how
yeah,
I would always tell him apart because he's got the little point.
yeah, yeah. This is so awesome. I mean, and of course they built a animatronic close-ups shots of it.
Yes. What a
Like,
huge improvement on the animatronics from the prior film from '84. Because I know they had the Cybot Godzilla they used, but wow, the ones they used for '89 look so real and everything. Like he
yeah,
looks so real. I love the way his lips moved when he was growling and all the different facial expressions that they were able to put. Like there's the one scene where he's fighting Rose Biollante and her tentacles come out of the water towards him, and he kind of backs up like, what the heck?
yeah,
Like he's surprised. It's really cool.
yeah. It was cool, and it yeah, and because the last animatronic they used in the 1985 Godzilla, because you could tell it looks so fake, and it was just with the
Yeah.
way he moves and
And there was one scene where he was like, and he kind of was shaking.
yeah, yeah. But this animatronic in Biollante, it looks so realistic.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, and uh, oh, Nick says there was a third suit, and I don't know. I thought there was two suits. I mean,
I think there was. Well, they had a promotional suit. I know that they had scrapped. That was before the film had started, and then they made the regular suit that he wears in the water suit.
yeah. And this movie was introduced Mickey. Oh yeah, Mickey.
Yes,
Yeah,
Mickey.
and this was Meko Ata. I hope I'm saying her name right, but
Oh,
this
Megumi Odaka.
Megumi Mogata, and this is her very first Godzilla film. As the
Mm-hmm.
first appearance of Miki Sugusa. Believe me, I loved her character.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah, especially for the Space Godzilla film. I definitely loved
I
her character in that one.
It's nice to see. I'm glad that they kept her. Like the thing I love about the Heisei series is the continuity of it. So like she's in every after Godzilla versus Biollante. She was so popular they had her in every single film afterwards, which really helps tie them together, and you could see her character grow throughout the films. And I just love that so much. And she's
Yeah,
so beautiful. I had such a big crush on her when I was growing. I
me
still do.
too.
I love Megumi Odaka. And I always
Yeah,
wanted to be Miki Sugusa.
yeah, yeah, you should. I mean, you can do it, and you could, if you want, you could do a cosplay of Miki Sugusa
I
at
know
G
I should.
Fest.
I should do that.
Yeah, I definitely had a crush on Miki Sugusa. Yeah, I remember meeting Meguro Ataka. Like, I keep saying her name wrong. I mean, I remember I actually met her at G Fest back in 2018.
Oh, I was there too. Oh,
And
I must have not known you then. We probably saw each other
yeah,
and didn't even know. Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
that was way before I started the show.
Oh, was it? Oh, wow.
Yeah, way before, and he, yeah, I hopefully she can. I hope she can come back to G Fest one of these
I hope
years,
so
and
too.
yeah, because I love meeting her for the second time.
That would be amazing. Yeah, I think that year we had Megumi and we had Satsuma there, so that was really cool to have them both since they were in the same movies together.
Yeah, and what I hear about her character Miki, I mean, she has this little psychic powers. Yeah, that she can like. eh, I mean, she's like she like read minds. Say like she can easily see Godzilla like what to see like what's happening. I mean, he's just.
Hmm.
I think she was like born with with psychic powers. I mean, what I heard. I mean, they never explained this in any of the films. I mean, that Mickey's parents were killed by Godzilla in 1984 at when Godzilla attacks in that year.
I think that was in the manga, the one of the mangas for the 1984 films. I haven't read a lot of the manga issues, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that that was in there that he had killed her parents and during his attack in 1984.
Yeah, I just wish they could show us flashbacks of it in any
Yeah,
of the Heisei film, but it never
that would have
happened.
been cool.
Yeah, and his yeah, and I have sorry about my nose. I'm just a
Oh,
little
it's
sick.
okay.
Yeah, it's all because of Biolante's pollen powers.
Her pollen spores.
Get it?
Oh
Yeah, get it? Because I have a little pollen allergy.
no.
I do apologize. Yeah, 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 and yeah, Nick remembers saying, yeah, he met her in person
Oh, that's
too,
right.
and yep,
Nice, Nick.
and couldn't Shinata take over as the new special effects director, follow after Tomodachi's retired as director of the special effects in 1987 after Princess of the Moon. Yeah, yeah, that is true. I mean, yeah,
He was a great special effects director. I think he really did a great job with not only 1989, but all the films that he was in after that. Like, he really made it look like really real and believable. And he went all out with like the explosions and just the beautiful sets that they made for this film. Like, so impressive. Like the whole Osaka attack when Godzilla lands in Osaka and is destroying the city. Like, wow. It's just every time I watch that scene, it's just so impressive that they were able to create an entire city in the studio and just it's very amazing.
yeah, it is. It is. It is so awesome, and it is like I think it's like even better than the 1985 one, and oh, and Gojira 19 wait is 1851 says the scene when all the
Oh,
kids draw.
yes.
Oh yes, I yeah that
That's
part. I
one of
mean,
my favorites.
yeah, it's I love the kids' drawings they did of Godzilla. I mean, even one of them kind of actually reminds me of Shin Godzilla.
They were good drawings too. I loved that scene because it was like it was scary. Like it was scary at the same time because you're like, oh, you know, he's coming, and all these kids are having these, psychic dreams of Godzilla coming, and that whole scene was just very, very beautifully written.
Oh yeah, it's kind of reminds me when I was a kid when I draw Godzilla a lot.
Yeah, me too. I would draw them in my notebooks
Yeah,
for school, and
yeah, but yeah, I wish I still had my own drawings, not the ones that are like these ones
yours are
that I
so
have on
good.
my wall.
Yeah, you're really good at drawing.
Hey, thank you. Hopefully, I'll give you a fan art of Biolantes someday, maybe at G Fest.
Oh yeah, I'll be there. That'd be
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, I'm so excited for G Fest this year, and
Me too.
yeah. Anyway, so this the scientist The story is like after the group of uh, biologic terrorists that stole the Godzilla cells. I mean, there was one main villain in it that I don't like his character so much. He's just
Oh,
so
really?
evil. I forgot his character's name, but he's like a terrorist guy. He's just
Oh, the Seradian agent?
yeah, the Serene
Oh,
engine.
yes.
He's
Yeah,
trying
he's
to get
mean.
yeah, he tries to get his hand on the Godzilla cells.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he just goes around there killing innocent scientists. It's just
Yeah, he was.
yeah, and I don't remember this this the actor's name, but he but when I heard that when they brought the Godzilla cells, they brought it to somewhere in Arabia. It's the name of the country. Like
Oh, Seradia. Yep.
yeah, and
The
then when they
Seradian agent.
yeah
The
when
Seradian secret agent.
yeah when Dr. Magani yeah, I hope I'm saying his name. I mean, he lives there with his daughter Erica. That well, firstly she was killed by an explosion accident. It was like a bomb. It's like
Mm-hmm. They were trying to get the. I think she was creating that a plant that would live in the desert they could use,
yeah,
and they didn't. They wanted her technology, or maybe they just didn't want her to create that, because then they
yeah,
would take over the crops for the rest of the world.
yeah. I think they just trying to build living plants for sand desert areas. What I heard of it, it kind of reminds me a little bit of that one opening scene from The Mummy Returns with the one scene with the rock,
Oh
and
yes,
kind of reminds me of that
you're right.
moment. Yeah, it kind of does, and it yeah, and I think I understand why this film was never re-released on DVD back then before they released it on Blu-ray. I think it's just as because this film it has lots of a little bit of terrorist scenes in it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that they I think that's why they never releases on they never re-releases on DVD back then. I think that has something to do with the 9/11 terrorist attack back in.
Maybe, yeah.
I think
I didn't
that
think about that.
yeah, but thanks to this Blu-ray company, they finally re-released it on Blu-ray in 2012. And I remember when I saw this on Blu-ray in a movie store, and I was so shocked. I was like, "No freaking way!"
Finally, finally.
That we finally got a official release, and it is included in its original Japanese cut.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I'm so happy to have this film on Blu-ray, and I still have it to this day.
Oh, me too. I'm not getting rid of that one. I'm not getting rid of any of them, but
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if this is like the same uh, video company who releases on VHS back then, or it, but I don't know. I mean, because I remember the back of the VHS cover it says released by Max. I forgot the name of the company. It was that it has the logo with the New York City background to
oh,
it, and
Miramax. Was it Miramax?
Miramax. Yeah, it says it on the VHS cover in the back. I mean, but I think that Miramax finally re-releases on Blu-ray in 2012. I bet what, yeah, I bet they're thinking like, you know what? Let's just re-release this film on Blu-ray. Now's the time. Let's just re-release this film.
Which I'm glad they did. I'm glad they did. Because my VHS tape was getting very worn out
Oh,
from all the times that I watched it.
yeah. I mean, as you know that is it's so sad when uh yeah that the doctor's daughter died from an explosion accident. It's
Yeah.
just such a sad moment, but then 5 years later they yeah that Dr. Serengami has want to create a mortal plant species with Erica's yes, DNA. I've been questioning myself, how did he got the DNA or cells from Erica after she passed away?
Well, I think there's like a couple different interpretations of it because I had for a while I was under the impression that possibly he felt that her spirit when she had passed, because when she died in the explosion there was a rose next to her. So my thought process was that her spirit kind of attached itself to the rose. And
Ah,
so the rose that he was working on in his office when he was trying to merge the Godzilla cells and rose cells together was that same flower. And that's why he had like the rose garden in the back of his house. Because I felt like maybe he thought her spirit was in those roses. Or he could have gotten cells from her after she, like maybe her funeral or something. But I always thought maybe it was her spirit that was in the rose.
yeah, that's what I thought too. Well, at least it wasn't a voodoo spell, kind of
Yeah.
like in the Chucky series. Yeah,
And they
like
trapped her in
Monday,
there.
Julie, Dambala. Yeah, at least it wasn't that. Yeah, I mean, it's just a cool thing that the doctor is trying to bring back Erica's spirit back to life and like using
Yeah.
a plant.
Save her.
Yeah, and uh, but he come up with when he heard that that some other scientists or want the doctor became interested of using some Godzilla cells that he that they kept at 5 years and the yeah
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Sharamagami decided they thought the Godzilla cells would be more powerful to bring Erica back to life, but mixing the cells together. And that moment, and I've been waiting to talk about this, but that scene actually kind of reminds me of a little bit of Jurassic Park moment.
Oh.
Because,
Mm-hmm.
like,
Yes, with the lightning storm and all that.
yeah,
And he
like,
like finally combines the cells, and then it's like this ominous kind of like,
yeah, because,
what's gonna
like
happen?
the ambers, like the embryos, like, when they have
Yes.
the mosquito has the DNA of dinosaur blood and they recreate dinosaurs. And that, it kind of
Mm-hmm.
reminds, it's kind of like that. It was, yeah, this is sort of like a Jurassic Park moment.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but turns out Godzilla cells are too powerful. They actually created like a giant mutant plant monster, which they now call it BIOLLANTE. I mean, I love the scene when the when the two guys break an entry to find some files of Dr. Shiragami's files of
Oh, from
entry
biotech. Yes.
biotechnology and but SS uh but SS9 it was like breaking entry too trying there was like a attack
Yep.
moment. I mean
They're
I was
all
like
trying to get it.
can't we all just get along? I mean, just leave the files alone. It's just
Yeah. Then Biolante is like, get out of my house. And
yeah,
attacks him.
yeah. I laughed so hard when they want to buy a lot taste tentacles. It's like strangles the one guy. It was like I think they speed up that scene.
Yeah, I think so.
I almost laughed so hard at that part. Yeah, and then and then the other tentacles attacked SS9.
Mm-hmm.
It was that match just. It, I like the one when he grabs the pole and he's just grabs an eye and stabs Violet's tentacles, or all her blood or
Yeah,
is all spread.
sap and all that. Ugh,
Yeah, and
poor
yeah,
Biolante.
yeah, and uh, but at least Biolante didn't use her pollen is spell on me.
Then
Yeah,
she,
yeah. I mean, but I was gonna talk about but Biolante, I think she wasn't the original main monster idea for this film, but I think
mm,
before they were start filming this, I mean, they come out with a lot of ideas for this film right after they made Godzilla, the Return of Godzilla, and they were using an idea for a giant mutated rat monster
yes,
called Dictanius.
that would have
I
been
think,
cool to see.
yeah, but that kaiju was Scratch. Yeah, but what I heard, they for that giant mutated rat idea, they're gonna have Godzilla eat it after he
Yeah,
defeats it.
gross. That would have been really creepy to see because I don't think we've really ever seen Godzilla eat another kaiju in the films before then. That would have been really
Yeah,
creepy. That would have been
yeah,
really scary.
yeah, that would be creepy. And yeah, and then he goes off to fight Biolante, which original design look. It was supposed to have a plant flower looking with a human face on it. That's the
hmm
original design looks.
Yeah.
But when they begin filming, they have while they were filming, they were still designing Biolante.
Crazy, right? They were
Yeah,
doing so many changes to it all the way up until even during filming, they were making changes to things, which is crazy. But
yeah. I
I
mean,
think it turned out great.
yeah, but the first design idea, they have one of those claymates, and they have, but they're gonna have like a Biolante. They have a rose head with a long snout, and it has
Yeah.
some long legs and some long arms. It kind of reminds me a little bit of one of those old cartoonish looking, uh, if you know what I mean, like one of those old cartoonish looking
Oh,
from the
yes.
60s and 70s.
They did have some really different designs for her. It's really neat if you go like look online for them. There's some really cool, interesting concepts that they had for her look. I love how she ended up, but I loved her evolved form too.
Yeah, and her second design, it has there was supposed to be like a Venus flying trap tentacle that's coming out of her rose head mouth, sort of. I mean, that would be so cool. I
Yeah,
just
that'd be
love these
creepy.
design.
It's like kind of
Yeah.
like from the Alien movies where she
Oh
has like
yes,
yeah
that's what I was gonna say. It kind of does look like from Aliens, but they but they won't use that design, that style look in another Godzilla film for Godzilla versus Destroyer.
yes, and then he ate him.
Yeah, yeah, and this film was inspired by the idea for King Kong Lives and Little Shop of Horrors.
Oh yeah, I can definitely see the influence there from Little Shop of Horrors with Audrey, the plant monster, the plant alien, I guess.
Yeah, which I never seen before. Little Shop of Horrors.
Oh, you have to watch it. It's so good.
Yeah, with Rick Moranis.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Yeah, I gotta watch that film someday. I mean, yeah, and this film is inspired by King Kong Lives, and because of the both opening scenes of both
Mm.
films. If you have seen King Kong Lives, you would definitely tell they use the opening scene style of Godzilla versus Biolante. Yeah, it's a which I did rented King Kong Lives at the same
Oh yeah,
video store that I rented Biolante.
that's cool.
Oh
Must have had a
yeah,
good store then if they had all these good movies there.
yeah. I just love these opening scenes that let you keep up and fresh your memories,
Hmm.
and and I want to talk about like Mickey. I mean, would she use her psychic powers? I mean, when they visit Mount Mihara, when
Hmm.
Godzilla falls in the previous film. I mean, when Mickey used her psychic powers, looked up Godzilla. I mean, there were some color effects on Godzilla close-ups, and just figure out when she figure out Godzilla's awake.
Yes. That
Yeah,
was a
and
really cool scene.
it looks like Godzilla's just been hibernating in there for the last 5 years.
And then he was finally waking up.
Yeah, and one of those amazing scenes ever when Godzilla first arrives, it just shows Godzilla rising up
Yes!
from the crater of Mount
Oh my
Mihara.
gosh. I love that scene when the terrorists kind of like blow the mountainside up and he comes walking out and they have all the pyrotechnics going off in the background. That is one of my favorite entrance scenes of all
Me
time
too.
of Godzilla. And the music, oh my gosh, the Ifukube theme is playing. It's so beautiful. That's such a great introduction scene because it makes him feel like now you're like, oh my gosh, he's here. He's like and he's coming after Japan.
Yeah, with the Godzilla theme to it. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I bet when he comes out of the volcano, he was wondering how long he's been out. I Yeah, but he's been out. He's been passed out for the last 5 years,
Yeah.
and they really made some changes to him. I mean,
He definitely
and
looked more lifelike for sure. I always thought he reminded me more like a feline kind of look. Maybe it's the way that his like I always thought it reminded me a little more like cat-like kind of features on his face, but definitely very reptilian and looks very much like a dinosaur too.
oh yeah, he does look like a dinosaur a lot, and
And he looks
it
real.
he mixed between like a dinosaur and crocodiles.
Yes.
Yeah, and speaking of crocodiles, I mean, Biolante's second form, called the plant beast form, which is right here, her head is
Yes.
it's definitely a crocodile head style form,
For sure.
except there are horns on it. And I bet, and believe me when I say, I bet they used the same style for Rampage. They came out
Oh,
2018.
yes. She looked very much like Biolante when I watched that movie. I was like, oh my gosh, Lizzie. Lizzie looked just like Biolante. Her
Yeah, it
facial
kind of
features.
does.
Yeah. I think she inspired them on that film.
Yeah, and because see, Biolante it's supposed to be like a giant Venus flytrap kind of
Hmm.
monster looking, and I want to say that this right here on her belly and including her rose form,
Hmm.
I don't know if this is supposed to like part of her like brain or it's just like a heart looking.
I always thought it was like, well, I always thought it was like her venom sac, but I think it's supposed to be like her nucleus kind of. But I mean, I thought that was like was her venom sac because when Godzilla was fighting Rose Violante and Mount, or was it Lake Ashinoko? Um, he had burst that, and all the venom came out, all her acid spray.
Oh
So I
yeah,
thought it always
and speaking of
part of Rose
acid, I mean,
Violante.
yeah, her is her like her acid spray. I mean, is was spraying on Godzilla. It looks awesome. It's like when
It's
Godzilla
such a
would be.
cool scene.
Yeah, what I heard when the guy who was in the plant beast form suit. I mean, this suit is so big. I mean, they actually attach
Yes.
to like wheels on the bottom
Mm-hmm.
so they make it move forward. I mean, when when Biolante spray her acid and that the actor inside the suit when he couldn't see inside the suit, so when he sprayed the
Yeah.
acid on on Godzilla, he 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 was afraid he might spray it in the wrong direction. And
Oh,
he's also afraid he might spray it on the camera.
oh no. That must have been a fun job, though. I would have liked to have been spraying Godzilla from inside
Yeah,
the Biolante suit. What a cool job.
yeah, but they did a good job at that scene. I mean, and
Yes.
and for the suit when Violente has so many tentacles. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and it was connected to so many wires,
Crazy.
and they use all the special effects people had to work on the wires part, and it has even more wires than King Ghidorah.
Yes. I think she's the biggest monster, I believe, that Godzilla had fought.
Yeah, I wonder
And
if they.
probably the hardest special effects wise too, I'm sure, because I can't even imagine all her tentacles are all controlled by all these wires, and how do you not get them tangled up together?
Yeah, I mean, this is like one of the biggest kaiju suits they ever made.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I bet inside the suit, I bet they have a little seat in there so the actor they could sit in it.
Yeah, I'm sure they did. She's big enough; they probably could have.
So Godzilla in this one, they used the Bio Goji suit for this. I mean,
My
and they,
favorite suit.
yeah, yeah, the bluish one. I mean,
I love this one.
yeah, and I love this new Bandai version.
Oh yeah, that one's really cool.
Except this is the 1991 suit, and they actually reused the suit for the next film, Godzilla versus King Ghidorah.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's, but anyway, like so, yeah. So I love this suit in this film. I mean,
Oh, me too.
uh, the guy who played the guy who played Godzilla is the same guy who played the '84 Goji suit in the previous film. I mean, and
Mm-hmm.
this and he said that this suit was more uncomfortable for him to wear, and because the last suit he wear, I mean, he went for the water scene part. He almost like I think he almost twisted his ankle for that
Yeah.
part. I mean,
That must have been hard for the underwater scenes. I know he did have difficulty because I mean, once the suit is all filling up with water, it gets so heavy. But I do definitely love this suit. And then another cool thing I thought about this is they had like fiber optic lights in the dorsal plates that would light up while they were filming too. So like it would light up in real time. Like how cool is that? They actually lit up a person. I thought that was
yeah,
really
and
neat.
yeah, it has a cool effect of that the spines light up, and hey, hey, so yeah, it was cool that how the spines will light up, and not like
Mm-hmm.
in the previous film.
Yeah, it
Sorry
was
about
really
that.
cool. Oh,
Yeah,
you're
sorry about
fine.
sorry about that. It's Biolante's pollen power. It's
She's
my
coming to
allergy.
get you.
Yeah, yeah,
Violence is attacking.
yeah. Hang on.
You're okay. Yeah, I definitely love this movie, and
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm just a little sick. I mean,
it's okay. Well, I hope you feel better.
yeah. I mean, God, Violante, stop using your pollen powers on me. Yeah, but anyway, like so, while they were lining up Godzilla's spines, that the actor inside the suit, he almost got electrical shocked.
Oh, I'm sure. All that
Yeah,
electricity in there. Whew, probably got shocked a
yeah,
couple
it's
times.
especially for the water scene because water can
Oh,
affect.
yes.
Yeah, that'll be more. dangerous for him. I mean,
Yeah, Satsuma. He's my favorite Godzilla suit actor. Well, because he played my favorite Godzilla. I love the '90s Godzilla suit. So he's a really great guy. He's been at G Fest a couple times. Well,
and
did you meet him at G Fest when Megumi was there?
I did meet him, but I never took a
Cool.
picture with him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
He's really nice.
yeah, and he was. I mean, and I want to talk about the music in there. Yeah, I love the music so
Me
much
too.
that I just released they could release this on iTunes, just like they did for the previous soundtracks. But sadly, it
I
never got.
hope. I
Yeah,
hope someday we will.
I love the soundtrack of it. I mean, they brought back the original theme, and
Hmm.
I mean, this music is not like the Return of Godzilla, and I mean but the I love the opening music titles
Yes.
part, and I love the Bio War
Yes.
theme with
Who doesn't
the
love
electric,
Bio
yeah,
Wars?
the electric guitar music, and
It was so. I remember when I first heard that, I was like, "What is going on?" Because it was like nothing that had ever been in a Godzilla
yeah,
film before. It was
I
so
bet,
different.
I bet we never get any music like that in the next Godzilla film.
Probably not.
Except they
I
use
love.
some Qatar theme style in Godzilla Final War.
That's true.
Yeah, the soundtrack. I mean, I love so much, especially the. I love to see when Dr. Shiramagami's lab and when they added the cells together and the BIOLLANTE theme. And
Oh,
but the
yeah.
one theme I love so much is the scene where the two couples meet up and it's chit chat. I love the theme for that part.
Oh, the
The
love theme. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that theme so much. It always makes me think of the memory that I first rented this film on VHS for the first time after I discovered it. It kind of reminds me a little bit, and also it kind of reminds me of a little bit of some the, the beach some beach parts when I go
Hmm.
to Florida.
Oh. Yeah, it does have really good music. It's a lot different, and I'm glad that we still had the Ifukube theme in there.
Yeah.
Because they had gone with a different composer. Actually, the composer that they used mainly had worked on like video games, Dragon Quest. I love Dragon Quest, so I thought it was cool that he did a soundtrack for Godzilla. But actually, I had heard that he made this soundtrack without have ever seen it, without have ever having watched the movie. So he kind of made it all just without seeing the film, without he just composed it all on his own with nothing to go on, which I thought was very impressive. And I love the soundtrack.
Yeah, me too. And including Nick, he loves the soundtrack too. Yeah, so then we'll see the love theme. It does remind me of the Florida beach parts where like every time because I walk on that beach at night during the
Oh,
sunset. It's
that's
kind of
nice.
wherever time I walk on that beach in Florida when during the sunset from sunset to nighttime. I always try to find this theme and just put it on whenever time I walk on the beach
Aw,
at night. It's just
that
such an
sounds very
amazing
nice.
moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, let's talk about the Super X
Oh
too.
yes, that
Yeah,
is a very fun song, and like it just you can't like not get pumped up when you listen to it. I think it's a very fun song, and I get very excited whenever it comes on. Yeah, I was
yeah,
like, yes, Girl Super X.
yeah. It sounds like the theme from the original Super X from the previous film. I mean, this and I mean, the Super X two is a remodel for the original Super X, and from the
They
previous
upgraded
film. I
it.
mean, yeah, with the
The
diamond
fire
rear mirror.
mirror.
Yeah, which it reflects Godzilla's atomic breath.
Mm-hmm.
But when he fires his atomic breath on it, it's just when the Super X2 reflects his heat ray, it just turns green. I thought to myself, why is it green when it reflects?
Oh, because they powered it up. Because when it reflects, they're trying to reflect it back with twice the power of Godzilla's original heat ray. So I think that's why they turned it green, because when it's reflecting, it's like a powered up version of his atomic breath.
Yeah, and uh, but it just got damaged later. It got useless
Yep.
because
He broke that
yeah,
one too. He
but
broke the Super X too.
luckily there's no one in there because it was just remote control.
Yeah.
And I like the one when he fights the Super X for the second time and the attack in Osaka. I mean, it's just
Yes.
I mean when the guy is just using the joystick and he just fires up, it's just it kind of looks like he's playing an arcade video game.
Yeah, it does.
It's kind of
I
like
think my favorite scene is I just love the whole Osaka attack scene. And then you have Colonel Gondo. They run up into the Twin 21 towers and they shoot
yeah,
Godzilla in the mouth with the anti-nuclear energy bacteria. That was a really cool scene too. And then
yeah, it
poor
was
Gondo, he
too.
was one of my favorite characters, and then he died.
Yeah,
Godzilla got
all
him.
all that bacteria is not good for you. Stick to smoking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that line. And then
He was so sassy.
yeah, and yeah, it was. And then he paid the price. And it's just yeah, but so yeah, the army is just trying to figure a way to stop Godzilla, but they found a way. It's just to rise up his temperature.
Oh, that's yep. So the bacteria could work on him. I thought that was a really cool. That was a different idea for the army, because normally before when they would attack them, it would just be with the tanks and the maser cannons, and now they were trying like a different like bio kind of attack, which I thought was really cool idea to incorporate into this movie. They're trying
Yeah,
like all these different ways they can to get them.
right. Because I think that when they come up with the idea for Godzilla, rising his temperature. I mean, before filming, I think the one that told people's come up with the idea because they did make Godzilla look more animalistic looking because before they made the Godzilla suit, I mean, and the Toho people have been studying animal movements. So one of them went to the zoo to study their movements,
Mm-hmm.
and when they learned about the animals' temperatures, I think that's how they want to go with Godzilla rising his temperature
So the
to give it.
bacteria could work, yeah.
Yeah, and I love that they used the theme from Invasion of Astro Monster.
Mm-hmm.
It They brought back one of the classic themes. I mean, and also I've been confused with one scene when that one guy was sleeping in the helicopter. I was like,
Oh, the colonel, yeah, he must have been so tired because he was like General Karaki. That was General Karaki, because this whole time he's been trying to get Godzilla, and he probably didn't get any sleep because he's been trying to come up with all these plans, use the thunder control system, and then Godzilla destroyed Super X2 on him. He was trying to divert Godzilla from coming to Osaka in the first place, and then he showed up in Osaka Bay. Poor
yeah,
guy. He was probably so exhausted.
yeah,
And
he
then
should
he,
take a vacation, maybe get some more
yeah.
sleep.
He tried really hard though. I always had a crush on him too, General Crocky.
Yeah, I mean, and also, I mean, when oh yeah, I want to talk about this weird guy who was after the Godzilla was released, that there was this guy on TV before the the news report interrupts him. He,
Oh yes. Oh my gosh, I forget because he has a real show in Japan. He has a
yeah,
real yeah, and he wanted to be in one of the Godzilla movies, and then they made it happen, which is really cool.
yeah. When he first appeared, I mean, when I rewatched this film for the first time in 2009, when I saw this part, I was like, I don't remember this part. It's been
I
so
don't.
many years that I don't even remember some parts.
It's
And
kind of just random because they kind of jump to it out of nowhere, and you're like, "What? What is this?"
and I and when I watched this film for the first time in that year, I mean, I remember the second fight scene. This is so weird.
Well, I guess since it had been a while since you watched it, maybe you forgot.
Yeah, I only watched it one time after I first
Wow.
discovered this film. Yeah, and all I remember is the rose form fight scene. That's all I can
Oh,
remember.
really? Oh my god! Well, that was a very good scene. I love the rose fight in Lake Ashinoko, but I love the final fight against her evolved form. Oh, that's just so. And then and this was I was like, what? Because one of her tentacles, she pierced Godzilla's hand, and it looked like it hurt so bad. That was a pretty brutal fight, I think. Then she was trying to eat Godzilla and bite his head, and that was a really, really, really great fight.
Yeah, I love both fights. I mean, including for the water scene, I guess. And yeah, I like when like Biolante's Venus flytrap tentacles, so it sprayed some of the acid on Godzilla's
Oh,
face,
yes, in his face.
and also the weird thing is that one of her tentacles just smashed through Godzilla's skin.
Oh, I know. Look like it hurt.
Yeah,
She
I
put up
wonder
a
how
good
it
fight.
does it.
She put up a
Especially
really good
went through
fight.
the hand.
Yeah, that one was oof. Every time I see that one, I can feel it. I'm like, oh, that must have hurt so bad.
Yeah, but Godzilla used one of his powerful attacks, so the nuclear pulse attack.
Yeah, and that was the first time that we saw him use that.
Yeah,
Really cool. I liked that they were giving him new abilities in these films.
And they actually used the same abilities in the in the other Heisei eras.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so yeah, and I also love the part when Godzilla blows his atomic breath on the rose form, but Biolante, and it suddenly caught on fire.
Yeah, poor Biolante. This just shows how very powerful his atomic heat ray is. And he
Yeah,
uses it a lot. I liked in these films how his main weapon of attack is his heat ray. And I mean, and then the nuclear pulse and all the other ones that come on in the films following this one. But because before in the Showa films, he was more like of a hands-on kind of grappling. He didn't use his heat ray as much as he did in these films, I feel.
yeah. I mean, yeah, like in the previous film, he didn't use his heat ray that much.
And he
Yeah,
was
but
very more physically attacking in the older films.
yeah, but
This way he
luckily,
likes to attack at a distance, I think, this time.
yeah, but luckily, also I love the part when Biolante is trying to eat Godzilla, trying to bite his head, but Godzilla
Yeah.
uses atomic breath on her, and he just blows away Biolante, kind of like
Mm-hmm.
for Godzilla versus Orgra in Godzilla 2000.
Yes, very similar. Yep.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about the deleted scenes for those parts?
Yes! Oh my gosh! I wish that they had left in the scene when, after he defeats Rose Violante, and all of the beautiful flowers show up all along the mountains
Yeah, it was like amazing
alongside of the.
shot.
Oh my gosh, it was so pretty, and I feel like it fit so perfectly in with the storyline that was going. I really wish they would have kept that in because I love that scene so much.
Yeah, I think there was a
It's very
second.
peaceful.
Yeah, I think there was another deleted scenes of it, but not the stop motion one. I'm talking about right after they showed the Super X two, and they did show they did film a shot of Godzilla walking on land, right right through the hills, and but I think they took that scene out. I think they don't want to make
Hmm.
the film too long.
Yeah, yeah, I can. Yeah, I see. Because I know it was a very long film, so I see why they took out the flowering one, but that was just so pretty. And I do love the stop motion scenes that they had used. Although I get why they cut that because it didn't really fit. Like it definitely was very different. Like you could tell it wasn't live action.
Yeah, yeah. The stop motion it doesn't match with the live action
Yeah.
shots. I mean, it's
But it was
just
still really cool to see it.
yeah, and also there was an alternate scene, a defeat scene when after Biollante was defeated, he was weakened, and then Godzilla was weakened too uh, by
Well, the
the
bacteria.
effect the bacteria because they raises his temperature, and he lands it in the sea. I mean, they were gonna have Biollante absorb Godzilla, like having Biollante animated looking, and
Oh
then he's just
yes, I did see that one.
yeah, but they cut that scene out. Like I think it has something to do with the animation's style to it.
Yeah, because it didn't fit in with the rest of the shooting style they had done. But that was a really cool idea for the ending. Although I don't think I would have liked it if she had ate Godzilla and then he like died. Or I mean, I'm
Yeah,
assuming if she ate him, he would have died, or maybe she was just absorbing his malice or something. I don't know, but
well, yeah. I mean, this is like the second time that the military they did not defeat Godzilla, but they just
mm-hmm.
unconscious him, just like in the previous
Yeah,
film.
they got pretty close to. I mean, they did definitely did some damage on him in this film.
Yeah, but like after Biollante was defeated, her like her spirit, her cells went up to the sky along with Erica's spirit image.
Yeah.
I mean, they just show a picture of her head. I mean, like
Yeah.
that's it. I mean, they didn't show her like her soul, like her whole body soul. Just how about the?
No.
They just show an image of her head. Yeah,
Yeah.
and when their cells went into space, I love the moment when uh, when Nikki told Dr. Shimagawa that Biollante said thank you, and
Yeah.
that's just a adorable moment. When,
It was very sweet.
yeah, he figured out that's Erica the whole time. She's like Erica, but
Mm-hmm.
sadly he got shot and died by the
Yeah.
SS9. I couldn't stand that guy. He's just so evil. He's just. But there was a chasing when he trying to take him down. And I love the part when SS9 was finally defeated by the
Finally.
yeah
The
by
thunder
the
control system.
yeah by the military
They got
guy. It was
him. Oh, General.
yeah
Yeah, I know. I thought it was funny that
by
General Karaki is the one that killed him.
yeah. But I when for that moment I did for first I bet he didn't know that he. I don't know. He was just doing that just to test one of the technology, or he's just to do it for fun, or he already know that SS9 was there. He decided he's just finish him off once and for all.
Yeah, I always thought that too. Like he knew that someone was on the platform because the platform was lit up, but like could he maybe he could see from the bunker that he was in that it was SS9 that was on that pod there. Because
Yeah,
what if it was the good guy? What if it was his friend that was on there and he didn't know? He just pushed it because he's like, oh, something's on there. I'm gonna push it, and then he would have zapped him.
yeah. That's the way far when uh, when uh, uh that I think it was Miss Cycle. I mean, I can remember that actress character's name was, but I like the way when she meets up with him I like what she says in the English dub, like, "You were wonderful, Superman."
Oh yeah, the dub is funny. I like the dub.
Yeah, I like the way when Godzilla finally rises because the water affected his temperature and he decided goes out to sea. And but
I don't
luckily he did.
know. Yeah,
I also love the ending music part of it too.
me
Yeah,
too.
yeah. Luckily he didn't go back to Mount Mihara.
Nope, he took off, and then I was surprised that the army they kind of just gave up after that. This whole movie they've been trying to kill him, and then at the end he just took off in the water, and they were just like, "Eh, all right, we'll try
Yeah,
again another day."
yeah. So Toho, like, what they only filmed this in a few months. They started filming
Very,
this in August, and they release and they finally released this in theaters, and I think it was the end of November.
yep,
So they only
very
filmed this
short.
in a few months. That was like so quick.
Yeah, it was, and it came out so well. I feel like, and it's weird that it didn't get like such a big reception in Japan, but like now, like I don't even know how it couldn't. I absolutely love this one, this movie, but now it has a very more popular opinion in Japan.
Yeah, it was. I was When I was doing some research. I Did you know that this film was released in the same year as Disney's The Little Mermaid was released,
Oh,
and was released in the same month in November.
oh, I didn't know that part. Oh
Yep,
wow,
yep,
cool.
1989.
Wow.
Eh, Yeah, and I'm s- I'm looking forward to see the live action Little Mermaid this May.
Yes, me too. I definitely want to see that for sure. It looks really good. It's such a good
Yeah,
movie.
well, it looks like we're almost out of time. So before I wrap this up, I mean, I gotta say that this film has not sold so many tickets that much. It only sells like 2 million tickets, not as much as the
Mm-hmm.
previous ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they said that this film is not as good in Japan, but when they released this film on Blu-ray, they I think they said it was like it's kind of a big hit back then
Yep.
for just a little while. And
Well, it's number one in my heart.
yeah,
Number
but
one for me.
and every time I watch this film, it always takes me back to the memory that I first rented this on VHS at
Oh.
my local video store.
Oh, that's such a nice memory. Oh, I like
Yeah,
that.
it's yeah, and it's well, I guess that's just about it for this episode. I want to say, Christine, I want to say thank you so much for joining me in this episode, and I'm really looking forward to have you on this.
Thank
It-
you. Thank you for
and
inviting me.
yeah, and I'm looking forward to see you in person at G Fest soon in a few months.
Yes. Couple months. I'll see you there for sure.
Yep, and so that's about wrap things up. And so until next time, the next up will be Godzilla versus King Ghidorah from
Nice.
1991. So, like I said in Japanese, sayonara.
Sayonara.